Troy has been found, but what evidence do we have that any of this happened? Well, Mycenaean pottery has been found at Troy, and not just in one layer. It appears across hundreds of years of occupation, meaning it's been found in multiple layers of the site. Stirrup jars, piriform jars, and deep bowls. These are all recognizable vessels of the Mycenaean world, and they began appearing at Troy around 1500 BC, meaning Troy was connected to the Mycenaean world for about 3 centuries before the city was destroyed. So not a fleeting encounter, rather a long trading relationship preserved in broken pieces of pottery. But there is one important complication. A pot can look Mycenaean without originating from mainland Greece. So how do we know some of the pottery at Troy was from mainland Greece? We know that through neutron activation analysis, or NAA. Scientists can analyze the chemical composition of clay and compare it to clay in other known regions. And Troy's clay has a very specific marker. It contains gold mica. Clay from the Greek mainland does not. So when gold mica appears in what looks like a Mycenaean vessel, it was actually made at Troy locally, meaning that local potters were copying Mycenaean pottery. But a lot of the vessels found were genuine imports. But by the period of Troy VIIa, local production clearly dominates. And this is where the pottery presents evidence that is fascinating. In the earlier Troy VI layer, Mycenaean pottery appears right alongside local copies. But at Troy VIIa, the layer dated to an approximate time of a Trojan War, the pattern changes. Imported Mycenaean pottery significantly declined while local imitations increased. So the city was no longer receiving these pots from across the Aegean. And there are a few possible reasons for this. Trade across the eastern Mediterranean may have become unstable. Political conditions may have interrupted trade routes. The wider Bronze Age was already beginning to fracture. Or Troy had been cut off. Because a city under military pressure will not continue to trade with the people attacking it. And if imported vessels were no longer arriving, local potters would have started producing them with materials they had. It doesn't prove that Troy was at war with the Mycenaeans. But the ceramic record at Troy VIIa is consistent with a city that lost its usual trade networks. And then there is something else that makes this much harder to dismiss. After Troy VIIa was destroyed, imports returned. In the next phase of the city, Troy VIIb1, chemical analysis identified pottery arriving from mainland Greece. Whatever disrupted the imports during Troy VIIa ended when Troy VIIa ended. So the networks had not collapsed completely, they were just interrupted. And when the interruption ended, the imports returned.